Welcome to rSlash Am I the Butthole, where OP calls the cops on her ex for abandoning his child. Am I the butthole for calling the cops on my ex for abandoning his child at my place while his girlfriend was giving birth? I'm a 32-year-old woman, and I've been married to my ex, Dan, who's 35, for 6 years before we divorced at the end of 2020 due to him cheating with Kate. Kate and Dan have a son who's 3, which was conceived and born during the pandemic while I was under high risk, and their entire affair has cost me some of my physical and mental health. After the divorce, Dan moved out of the house that I own, and we haven't spoken since. Last week, Dan suddenly dropped his son at my house without giving me any warning or explanation. He only mumbled that Kate was giving birth to their second child and needs him in the delivery room due to complications. He left before I could protest, and I've tried texting and calling him multiple times and received no reply. I don't know why he thought this was a good idea, because I have plans and they definitely don't involve someone else's child. I ended up calling the cops and told them what happened. I explained that it's not my child and I haven't agreed to look after him and the dad isn't responding. The cops came and took the child, and I didn't hear anything until a few hours later on the same day when my ex called me, calling me a butthole because the cops found him in the hospital and basically forced him out of the delivery room so that he could look after his child, so he missed the birth of his second, and also Kate had some complications, so she's in intensive care. He also started shouting, saying that his and Kate's parents are living on the opposite ends of the country and have medical conditions, which means that they can't look after his son. I told him that he should have used his brain cells and thought about that in advance instead of dumping the product of his affair at my house, when he knows that me and him are not civil, but then he called me an even bigger butthole. I've mentioned this to some of my family and friends, and while some people are on my side, others agree with my ex, saying that I should have looked after the kid and that I'm a butthole for calling the cops. Yo, you haven't talked to this man in 3 years and he shows up out of the blue with his affair baby and is like, hey, how about some free babysitting? Yo, the audacity of this guy. And how is anyone defending him? This makes no sense to me. What fantasy world are they living in? The logical thing to do is to prepare for the inevitable by finding a babysitter in advance, not giving your kid to basically your mortal enemy. Oh, this story is so dumb. OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your ex 3.5 out of 5 buttholes. I've got a pretty good sense for why you divorced this guy. Am I the butthole for laughing at my brother's girlfriend after she asked me why none of us like her? I'm a 20-year-old woman. My brother Mark, who's 23, has been with his 22-year-old girlfriend, Jane, for a year. She is one of the most passive-aggressive, snarky people you will ever meet. Her middle name is Petty. The thing that caused our family to keep her at arm's length was when she got mad at our mom for accommodating our younger sister's autism and not force-feeding her, as well as allowing her to read at the table, which is something that calms her down. Jane jumped on my mom's case for, quote, enabling an entitled brat. Another example was when my mom supported Mark's decision to get the tattoo that he had been saving up for years. Jane then called up my mom to complain that he made the deposit with his hard-earned saved money and had an appointment set. She told my mom that she wasn't... What? She told my mom that she wasn't going to allow this emotional incest anymore and that she's happy to make an appointment for us all to see family therapy about this enmeshment, which is making her uncomfortable. She's continued to make comments like these, specifically to my mom, and it's disgusting how little respect she has for pretty much everyone but herself. She hasn't been invited to Christmas this year, but Mark is. It's unclear what they're going to do yet. A few days ago, Jane called me because Mom blocked her. She said that she was 3 months pregnant and went on this long rant about our family dynamic. She then asked, "Why don't you all like me?" I laughed out of pure shock and asked if she was serious. She didn't even respond. She just said, "I'll call you when you're in the mood to be more mature," and hung up. I told Mom about the situation, and she's on my side, but Mark is fuming at me for laughing at Jane's question and angry at Mom for being on my side. Mom just told him that he needs to talk to Jane about her constant comments and insults, and she's expecting an apology. Mark won't talk to me, and Jane blocked my number. Am I the butthole? Okay. What I want to know is, how is a mom telling her son, Go ahead, sweetie, you can get the tattoo that you want. Emotional incest. Unless he's getting a tattoo of, I don't know, his mom's boobs or something. Then okay, I guess that counts as incest. Oh, actually, in an edit, OP says, the tattoo has nothing to do with our mom. It's an octopus up his arm that my brother designed himself. He does art and he wanted to be a tattoo artist. Yeah, okay, I don't... What? How is this emotional incest? Yo, this woman is crazy. What is wrong with her? Is she just picking fights just to pick fights? OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. I completely understand why everyone in your family hates Jane. I'm giving Jane and Mark 2 out of 5 buttholes, but brace yourself, OP. Now that Jane is pregnant, it's gonna get much, much worse. Am I the butthole for freaking out at my husband's thoughtful gift? Yesterday was my birthday. My husband was getting on my case lately about me buying too many peppermint mocha lattes from Starbucks. For 2 days before my birthday, he was hyping up the gift that he got me. So he surprised me with a homemade peppermint mocha latte that he made. The twist is that he made it with essential oils that some random lady at a health food store assured him was okay. I have a panic attack after he tells me that he fed me essential oils. I felt enraged and hatred when I looked at the essential oil bottle and it clearly states that it's for use in a humidifier. He didn't even read the bottle before deciding to make this sweet gesture for it. I have never been interested in essential oils, so he has no reason to think that I'd want to ingest this. He says that he isn't the butthole because how could he know a shopkeeper would lie? Am I the butthole for blowing up and telling him that I'm so disappointed? Okay, so for those who don't know, these are the symptoms for ingesting too many essential oils. Drowsiness, shallow breathing, and potentially a coma. Seizures, persistent cough, gagging and choking, wheezing, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and then a bunch of other conditions like rashes or eye pain if it gets on your skin or eyes. So let's be crystal clear here. What this guy did was super dangerous. I think, personally, this was probably more just stupidity than it was malice or evil. I think the guy just doesn't know anything about essential oils, which is kind of fair because not many people know much about essential oils. So, gosh, man, I think I'm more inclined to give this guy a dumbass score than a butthole score. So I'm going to say he gets 4 out of 5 dumbasses. You know, I will say, getting all the equipment to make homemade peppermint mochas is kinda sweet. It's just, unfortunately, OP, your husband is a doofus. Am I the butthole for telling my sister, don't dish it if you can't take it? I'm a 25-year-old woman who's home for the holidays. I'm seeing my 18-year-old sister, Ella, and my 17-year-old brother, Finn, for the first time in months. To put it simply, Ella tortures Finn. Finn can't open his mouth around her without her getting angry. She makes fun of his long hair, his clothes, his hobbies, and his friends. For example, I mentioned that I was thinking of taking on extra work, and Finn said that was a good idea because my rent has gone up. Ella responded, "Since when do you have a finance degree?" Even if, frankly, he was right. He tripped up the stairs last night, and she told him to stop pretending to be drunk. He had been drinking with his friend downstairs. Ella seems to think that it's all a joke, but it upsets Finn. Finn asked if we wanted to watch a movie tonight, and he suggested one that he likes. Ella responded, "Not everything is about you." Finn wore a t-shirt of a band that he likes, and Ella complained that he doesn't even listen to them, and on it goes. Yesterday, we went to a little coffee place. The usual joke arguments happened all the way there. The trouble started when Finn accidentally knocked the table, and Ella exploded, saying, "There's hot drinks on this table. Would you be careful?" And then yelling some more when Finn said that it was an accident. I tried to defuse the situation and told Ella to stop, but she replied, "You need to learn to take a joke." When I told her that she was taking it too far, Ella kept on complaining. She gave us a silent treatment, even when Finn asked about her plans, and when she gave a blunt answer, she turned to me and said, "Sorry, did I take that too far again?" I told her yes, and she started yelling at us again about how we gang up on her, even though we don't. Here's the issue. During the commotion, Finn made a remark about Ella's friends. I didn't hear this remark, but Ella was very upset, and Finn admitted that he said it. Last year, some really bad stuff went down between Ella and her friends that really upset her, so he touched a nerve, knowingly or unknowingly. And I was sympathetic because from what I saw happened, it was bad and it did mess her up, and Finn apologized. But I was on Finn's side because Ella had ripped into him nonstop. So Ella was yelling at Finn and our mom was telling the both of them to make up. I stepped in and said, Ella shouldn't dish it out if she can't take it. And yeah, it was harsh and I shouldn't have said it. But I feel like someone needs to put Ella in her place because all she did until then was whine about me babying Finn and Finn's inability to take a joke. Ella stormed off crying. My mom told me that it wasn't my place to tell her as I'm only seeing part of what's going on. Apparently, they've been at each other since she got back. And maybe that's true, but all I see, even before I moved out, was her antagonizing him and him giving her more grace than she deserved. Now, Ella's not talking to me. My mom is insisting that I stay out of it and that we all make up for Christmas. So, am I the butthole? OP, I don't even know why you're conflicted about this. Your mom clearly isn't interested in being a parent to Ella, so if she's not going to teach Ella how to be an adult, then you have every right to step in. What it sounds like is that OP's parents are playing favoritism. Maybe there's a little bit of sexism going on here where women can do no wrong and men are expected to be tough and stoic. And so, as a result, Ella has grown up to be an entitled, spoiled brat. OP, I'm giving you and Finn 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving Ella 2 out of 5 buttholes, and I'm giving your mom 3 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for banning my teenage nephew from my house and keeping my family away from him on Christmas? On Thanksgiving, my daughter lost her AirPods. We used the Find My AirPods feature, and they were at my sister's house in my nephew Adam's bedroom. Adam is a 13-year-old boy. He claims it was a mistake and he thought they were his. But when we got them back, the AirPods were still in the pink donut carrying clip that my daughter uses. Adam's made a lot of mistakes over the years, from taking gaming controllers, AirPods, and toys that he randomly finds. This has been an ongoing issue, and I think that at 13, it's time for Adam to stop making these mistakes. I told my sister that Adam isn't welcome at my home for Christmas because he's had mistakes there and he steals other people's things. I don't think I'm being mean, but I'm sick of the little thief who has no consequences and I don't want him in my home anymore. Because of this, my mom is now hosting Christmas because I don't want to. I made it clear to my family why. I think it's past the time that we address Adam's issues. My mother and sister think that I'm going about this the wrong way, and I'm being too mean on Adam over a little mistake, but I'm honestly just sick of being around him. I had to tell my kids not to take any expensive or new gifts that they like to grandma's. I've also told them no sharing with Adam, and any gifts we unwrap at grandma's go straight to the car and locked in. The situation pisses me off because I now feel like I have to punish my kids for Adam's behavior. And they can't play with their own things on Christmas, and I have to be vigilant because their cousin steals. And no one but me seems to care about how wrong this is. OP, I read the word mistake a lot in this post. Adam makes this mistake, he makes that mistake. I think what you mean to say is take, not mistake. He takes this, he takes that, he takes whatever he wants because he's not facing any consequences. And your sister and mom think that you're being too mean? No one is being nearly mean enough to Adam because he just does whatever he wants. OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. Adam and his parents get 2.5 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for telling my mom that I'm staying with my dad full time until I don't have to share my room? I'm a 15-year-old girl. I live 1 week with my dad and the other week with my mom. They divorced 3 years ago, and my mom has been dating this guy John for a year. John and I don't hate each other, but we're not close either. We all live in the same town as most of my dad's side of the family, so other than my music lesson, I also hung out with a lot of my cousins, and I didn't spend much of my time around John. A month ago, John and his daughter, Trisha, who's 11, moved in temporarily into my house because there was a fire at their house. My house has 2 bedrooms, so Trisha has to stay in my room. My bed is a bunk bed because I was originally supposed to have a sister, but my mom miscarried. Trisha and I hung out a few times before this, but I can say the same thing about her and John. I don't exactly hate her, but it turns out she's hard to live with. She has long hair and her hair is everywhere. She talks in her sleep, and ever since she moved in, I get woken up 5 or 6 times a night. She also sometimes tries to talk to me when I already turned off the lamp, which is a sign that I was trying to go to sleep. I talked to my mom, and she said that I needed to be nicer to her since she's going through a lot. She said that my issues were just minor inconveniences, that Trisha would be back at her own home soon in late January. I talked to my dad, and he said that I could just move in with him until Trisha leaves. I then packed my bags and told my mom that I'd be staying at my dad's. She blew up at me, saying what a spoiled brat I am and that I'm making John and Trisha feel horrible for imposing. I just left. It's been a week now, and my mom never reached out to me. She dropped my Christmas presents at my grandma's because my dad and I would celebrate Christmas there. Honestly, it kind of feels like the only butthole here is the mom. John and Trisha had a fire in their house, which means not only was that traumatizing, but they probably lost a lot of sentimental items to them. So your mom's right, they are going through a lot, and it's very kind of you and your mom to bring them into your home. However, at the same time, it does seem like it's a very cramped, uncomfortable living situation, so moving in with your dad temporarily feels like a very logical and normal thing to do. I don't understand why your mom is interpreting this as you being an entitled brat and instead just you giving Trish some space so that she can deal with the trauma of having her house be on fire. So I'll give your mom 1 out of 5 buttholes for unreasonably blaming you, and I'm giving everyone else 0 out of 5 buttholes. That was rSlash Am I the Butthole, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.